Isang maganda at mapagpalang araw muli sa ating lahat. Thank God it's Friday. Today po is August 28, 2020 and today is the last but definitely not the last session or the least session of our hashtag GKNB Online Learning webinar series. Wow! It has been an amazing and a humbling experience po na makaabot po tayo sa session 6 ng webinar series natin. Ano po? Sino po sa inyo ang ever-present at talagang perfect attendance from session 1 hanggang ngayong session 6? Please comment them down below sa ating comment section. I would like to congratulate you all po. Wow, gusto ko po kayong talagang pasalamatan at i-congratulate lalo na sa mga students po natin na hindi bumitaw at talaga namang tumutok at sinamahan po tayo mula sa ating day 1 ng ating G KNB Mag-Online Learning webinar series dahil talaga pong ito ay para sa inyo. Pinaghandaan po talaga ng Team LRC kasama ang ating mga speakers para sama-sama tayong makapaghanda para sa ating darating na semestre ngayong taon. And hopefully, nakapag-breakfast na po tayo lahat para todo-todo na to sa ating pakikinig sa ating last session. So pagbati po muli sa lahat ng mga early birds natin sa FB Live. Hi, good morning to everyone. Please let us know kung saan po kayo nanonood. Talagang binabati ko rin po yung number 1 fan ko po sa bahay namin, ang aking anak na si CJ at ang aking husband na talaga namang nagpa-participate din po at pag-uwi po ako, laging sinasabi sa akin, G ka na ba? O di ba po? Talagang natatandaan niya na. Alright, so pagbati po sa inyong lahat, alam ko po nakakaabot tayo sa even sa Mindanao, sa Visayas, sa Bicol, even far ng Luzon, nakakaabot pa po tayo. So maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtutok at pagsama sa amin sa G KNB Mag-Online Learning webinar series. Alright, once again, kung wala pa rin po ang inyong mga friendships dito sa ating FB Live, ay pati yung inyong mga kasamahan o mga kaklase, once again, tawagin nyo na po sila. Last session na po ito. At itag nyo na rin po sila sa ating video para makasama rin natin sila. Ano po? And please share as well the video para mas marami pa rin matuto at makaalam po ng kung paano mag-prepare ngayong pasukan kapag online classes na. Okay? As of this morning, we already have a total of 2,196 registered participants. Napakadami po ng mga nag-register sa ating webinar series. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat for taking interest in these sessions. Okay, I hope on board na po tayong lahat. Time check po tayo. It's 10:04 in the morning. Alright, so once again, welcome to G KNB Mag-Online Learning, a 6-part webinar series on how to study at home under the new normal. And today, once again, is our last session entitled Slayin It Like a Pro, Insights and Testimonies of Successful Online Learners. I am Cheryl Ed Hermosa Ebron, once again, the University Extension Associate and Training Coordinator of UPLB Learning Resource Center. I hope po hindi po kayo nagsawa sa akin. Today, again, I will be our sessions moderator. In the meantime, once again, just a few reminders before we formally start our session. Please be reminded to keep your comments helpful and considerate to the speaker, moderators, and to your fellow participants. And if you have questions, just feel free to ask them. The question and answer portion will be after the discussion of our speakers, and kindly ask relevant questions to our topic. Okay? And if mag-ask din po kayo ng question, pakilagay din po ang inyong name, affiliation, school or organization, and then your question para ma-recognize naman po kung saan kayo galing na school or affiliation or organization. Okay? And lastly, please do not forget to answer the evaluation form after our webinar because your comments and your suggestions are deeply appreciated by our team LRC. Okay? Sa mga naka-mobile data, hindi po namin kayo nakakalimutan. Kasama rin po namin kayo sa series na ito. Siyempre, nag-request po kayo ng YouTube videos. Huwag kayong mag-alala. As requested, lahat po ng sessions natin from 1 to 5, uploaded na po yan sa ating YouTube channel ng Team LRC. So aside from FB Live, we will be also uploading this last session as well sa aming channel. So makikita niyo po yan sa inyong screen. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Vlogger na talaga ako nito. And i-click nyo rin po yung ating notification bell para updated po kayo parate sa ating mga videos. As of now, meron na po kaming tumataginting na 236 subscribers. O, di ba? Nakakataba po ng puso kasi from zero po yan. In just a matter of 2 weeks, from August 17 hanggang ngayong August 28, meron na po tayong nag-subscribe na 236 subscribers. So, keep them coming. Okay? And please also use our official hashtag for these sessions, which is hashtag GKNB Online Learning. Yan po ay para pag nag-search kayo ng mga materials, ng videos po natin, madali nyo pong makikita yung mga videos regarding G KNB Mag-Online Learning webinar series. So, ano-ano na nga ba yung mga sessions na pinagdaanan natin? Ano-ano yung mga sessions ng G KNB Mag-Online Learning webinar series? Sa session 1 natin, we learned how to be cool or creative in optimizing online learning platforms with Dr. Edmond G. Centeno. So tinuruan niya tayo na sa online learning, hindi ka dapat matakot. Yung mga reservations natin somehow nawala because he explained well na pwede tayong maging creative, hindi natin kailangan mag-fret. Kailangan lang natin aralin at maging matyaga sa paggamit nitong mga online platforms na to. And there are various opportunities, talagang maraming opportunities for our online learning platforms. And kung wala naman pong internet, hindi din namin kayo nakalimutan, nag-prepare din ang university ng alternative mode for you guys. And then on our session 2, that was all about on how to be lit. Di ba pag lit parang you're energized, and Sir Mo give us tips and strategies, best strategies, how to become a successful online learner. So ang dami nating natutunan from him. And then on our third session, di ba? It's all about how to be on-cam ready. This is a different environment already, and Sir Chico gave us tips on how to be on-cam ready when we are already taking our online classes. Dahil lahat ng nakikita natin sa screen are all message to our viewers. So kailangan tayong prepared for those. Okay? And then fourth, we take it on the next level by being extra. Diba? From Ma'am Benjan, talagang tinuruan niya tayo how to apply ethics in online learning. Dahil sabi nga natin sa at UP, honor first before excellence. No? Kahit virtual learning environment, we still have that goal na honor and excellence. Kailangan kaya ng konsensya mo na talagang ikaw mismo yung gumawa ng mga assignments mo and all. And on the fifth session, ayan, holistic po yung ating G KNB Mag-Online Learning series. Kaya inimbitahan din natin si Dr. Jane C. Palis to talk about how to address our social and emotional needs ngayong pandemic, because lahat tayo, we experience various emotions, and those emotions are valid. So kailangan lang natin i-address and i-manage through having a vibe check. And today is our last session nga. It's all about slaying it like a pro. So kikinig tayo sa dalawang successful online learners. What's better way ba para talagang maging successful tayo, but to hear it from those who really experienced it firsthand. Okay? So exciting yan. We are all new to this, so let us learn and prepare together. Together, we can achieve academic excellence. Ang tanong, G ka na ba? G pa rin ba, guys? Alright, well, dahil G na G pa rin tayo, let's now start this session. And to start off, let's have, once again, a short energizer para magising po muli ang ating mga diwa at ang ating mga brain cells. Sa mga naka-attend na, you know the drill, you know what to do, pero sa mga ngayon pa lang mga kasubok, sige po, sama-sama nating aralin at ma-amaze po tayo muli sa Mentimeter. Okay, madali lamang po. First, open a new browser or a new window and go to www.menti.com. And then second, use our key code 398929. And then there are 2 questions there po. Kindly answer them. All right, let me just share my screen so we could see the real-time results of our Mentimeter. Hold on. Let me just check. Let me share my screen. Hold on. There. Okay. Ayan. So far, may nakikita na akong tatlo na nag-a-answer sa ating Mentimeter. Ang unang question natin ay, if follower ka po ng Facebook page ng LRC, nakita mo na to, one has to go. Which will you choose? Kailangan tanggalin yung isa. Alin ang pipiliin mo? Facebook ba? Instagram ba? YouTube ba? Twitter ba? O Netflix? Sige nga, alin? Alin ang pipiliin nyo? Ako personally, ang tinanggal ko na ay Netflix. Kasi sabi ko nga, nagbitaw ako ng ibang mga habits. Parati ako napupuyat sa pag-Netflix. Pero ngayon, ang pang stress reliever ko na lang ay K-drama. O, diba? Pero lesson na rin. Ayan. I'm seeing on my screen, marami ang kayang bitawan ang Instagram. Ba? Talaga? Wow, amazing. And then yung merong pangalawa, ang pwede nilang bitawan ay Facebook daw. Pinaka-least na pwede nilang bitawan ay YouTube. Ba, madaming nag-YouTube. So far, leading ang Instagram. Kaya ninyong, pantay na pala ang Facebook at Instagram. Okay. 52, is that it? Sige, gawin lang nating 60, 56, 58, 59, 60. All right. Thank you so much, guys. So, parang pumapantay lang yung Facebook at Instagram sa pwede nyong bitawan na social media, All right. So, moving on with our next question. Ito, ayan. Sa mga umattend from session 1 hanggang ngayong session, or may na-attendan kayong ilang sessions from our webinar series, ano yung pinaka-importanting lesson that you learned from #GKNB Online Learning? Sige nga, ano yung inyong pinaka major takeaway from all of the sessions that we had? 1 word, 2 word? Oy, meron na. I'm seeing on my screen, look better, get a better background, be professional, preparedness, self-care, be on cam, flexibility, be an efficient teacher, stay motivated. Aba, iba-iba, various, ano? Ano pa? Take time to rest. Gusto ko yan. Gusto ko talaga yung REST, rest. Kailangan talaga natin yan. And self-care. O, ayan, daming self-care, oh. Tatlo na yung nakita ko. Be confident. Be on cam. Discipline. Be online ready. Be prepared. Be professional. Ayan. So nakikita natin dito sa ating word cloud, medyo apat, no, yung talagang parang you think the most important lesson that you learned is actually self-care, being professional, being respectful, resilient, all right, disciplined, online ready. Okay? 48, is that it? All right. So once again, thank you so much, guys, for participating sa ating Mentimeter, sa ating munting energizer. So, gising na ba? Ready na ulit na makinig? Okay, I hope so too. Okay, so once again, thank you so much for participating. And let us now move to the main part of our session regarding sa Slayin It Like a Pro. So allow me to introduce to you our speakers. Not just one, but two speakers for this morning session. Our speaker or first speaker is Ms. Shari Eunice San Pablo. She is an artist, mental health advocate, and researcher who explores the synergistic relationship of art, science, communication, and development to effectively communicate message as one intertwines art and research. She holds a bachelor degree in multimedia studies from the University of the Philippines Open University or UPOU. She also currently teaches at the same university while studying straight Ph.D. in development communication, minor in family resource management at UP Los Baños. She is also a member of Space Ecologies Arts and Design, a transdisciplinary and cross-cultural collective of artists, scientists, engineers, and activists with members from all over the world. She is the principal investigator of the research project Fixing Information Disorder in Social Media that aims to enhance online digital literacy skills of Filipinos through education. And then our second speaker is Mr. Gabriel Angelo Ramos. He is a part-time multimedia freelancer and currently a BA Multimedia Studies student as well at UPOU. Here to share about how they conquer the world of online learning. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please welcome our speakers, Ms. Shari Eunice San Pablo, and Mr. Gabriel Angelo Ramos.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction po. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Okay, let's start the session 6 of G KNB Mag-Online Learning, Slaying It Like a Pro. My talk will have 5 parts. So for the first part, I'm going to talk a little bit about me. So konting facts lang po from how I was introduced, ganyan. And then second part is how do I continue to learn during the pandemic? For the third part is I will share with you some successful online strategies that I have made all throughout my experience as an online learner. For the fourth part, I will share with you tips on how not to procrastinate. And then for the last part, I will tell you the lessons that I learned the hard way as an online learner. Okay. For my part 1, again, my name is Shari. I am an artist and mental health advocate. I'm also a researcher, straight Ph.D. student, and teaching fellow. For the artist part, I'm a member of Seeds, and we tackle a lot of interesting topics, biology, architecture, and we also have an ongoing project with the International Space Station. And if you want to learn more about us, you can visit seeds.network. So that is SEADS.network. Okay. I'm also a mental health advocate. So my recent exhibit was in UPLB and it is entitled Inconvenient Silence. The exhibit is about 17 different mental illnesses. And the original form of this is actually a website. It was my undergraduate thesis. And what happens is that when you click one picture, it will show you the different histories, symptoms, and definitions of it, and then the narratives of the people that I was able to interview with. And then also, dun po sa isang part nun, makikita niyo yung kung paano po kayo makakatulong or how can you seek help, that sort of stuff. Sorry about the noise if you can hear them. Pero ganyan po talaga. Okay, moving on. I'm also a researcher and then PhD student nga po sa UPLB and also a teaching fellow sa UPOU kung saan po ako nag-graduate ng aking bachelor's. Okay. For the part 2, how do I continue to learn during the pandemic? Now, I want to ask my friend, my good friend, Gab, about this. And then I will also share with you how I continue to learn during the pandemic. So, Gab, how do you continue to learn during the pandemic? Especially now na sa OU po kasi nagtuloy-tuloy yung aming semester. Hi,
Yes,
Gab.
hi, hello. Naririnig po ba ako? Okay. So, ako po ay si Gab. Actually po, classmate ko po si Shari sa OU. And yun nga po, since yung pandemic, since everyone is on lockdown, parang sa amin as an OU student, parang tuloy-tuloy lang ang buhay. Kasi parang we've all starting college years, parang nandun pa rin po eh. 'Di ba? Ganun pa rin po yung setup namin, sa bahay kami nag-aaral. But there are some differences now kasi parang before we can do anything, 'di ba? Online learning, you have all the time that you can. But right now, iba yung pandemic eh. But to answer Miss Shari's question, actually it's more before you're gonna focus on the academic side of things ng online learning. But now, you also have to factor in yung stress ng pandemic. You also have to factor in yung resources natin kasi lahat ngayon nasa bahay na. So, medyo pumipitik-pitik yung internet natin. So, those are the kind of things that we consider now. Pero online learning for us, as Ms. Shari said, normal lang eh. Normal lang, and I hope that we we get to learn more. Para kasi maraming misconceptions, Miss Shari, di ba? Maraming misconceptions about
Yes.
online learning. Maraming sinasabi na, naku, kailangan ko ba palaging mag-video on or synchronous ba palagi ang studying natin? Hindi po. I-clear out po natin mamaya yan sa ating sharing sa ating session ngayong araw.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Gab, for sharing how you continue to learn during the pandemic. Sige, balik po tayo sa PowerPoint. Okay. So for me, this is how I continue to learn during the pandemic. So nag-PhD po ako sa isang traditional setting na university, which is sa UPLB, kung saan meron po kaming face-to-face sessions talaga. And sa ngayon pa nga po, meron pa akong subjects na hindi pa tapos. And this is how I continue to learn during this very hard time. Okay. First is meditation. So it is also linked with self-care kung napanood niyo po yung nakaraang session. So meditation can give you a sense of calm, peace, and balance that can benefit both your emotional well-being and your overall health. It is a priority po talaga na pangalagaan natin yung emotional well-being natin and especially overall health. Kasi paano po tayo matututo or paano po tayo magtuturo for teachers kung hindi po panatag yung loob natin or hindi po okay yung ating well-being or kung may sakit po tayo. So syempre kailangan uunahin din po natin yung sarili natin minsan. Okay. So some benefits rather of meditation can also include increasing self-awareness, and then you will also be able to focus on the present and then reduce negative emotions and as well as increasing your patience and creativity. So yun po yung ilan sa mga benefits ng meditation, and lalo na po kapag super overwhelmed ako sa work, sa school, 5 to 10 minutes of meditation can bring a huge difference. So I would recommend na kapag na-overwhelm po kayo, or it can be routine, so say weekly or daily, kahit 5 to 10 minutes lang po, it will make a huge difference. So gusto ko lang pong i-highlight itong app na ginawa ng isang UPOU student together with Camuel. Ito po yun. It's called Paki app. So the app was created by Aliza Regine Miranda, who is a UPOU student or UPOU alumni, hindi na po sigurado. But yeah, it was created by her and Camuel Clyde Belderol. The app was the response to the growing issue of mental health during the pandemic. It is brought about mostly by isolation among all other factors. Having experienced mental issues themselves and not having a safe space to share or talk about things, they created Paki app. And so the ultimate goal of this was to create a safe space where people could share and read about each other's experiences, good or bad. So if you want to check them out, I think they are also available sa Play Store. This one is from the App Store. So, ayan po. You can talk about your feelings anonymously, and you can also set it for yourself lang. So it's kind of like a journal or a diary. Okay. For the next one, I would recommend that you use time blocking. So what is time blocking? It is a time management method that asks you to divide your day into blocks of time. Each block is dedicated to accomplishing a specific task or group of tasks and only those specific tasks. So ito po yung itsura ng time blocking. So other people would do kind of like the left side of things. So paiba-iba po and hindi po sila nakakatapos ng tasks. So, yung emails and messages yung nauuna, and then meetings, so on and so forth. So, this is just a tip for those of you who can handle those of you who can schedule your time. Kasi syempre hindi naman po lahat ay hawak natin yung oras natin. So kung hawak niyo po yung oras niyo, I would really recommend doing this, especially for students kung kaya. Kasi it's much more effective. And kung napanood niyo po yung previous sessions, I think they mentioned the Pomodoro Technique. It is where you do a task for 25 minutes and then you take a break for 5 and then you repeat the whole process. It is super effective para maging productive po tayo. I also do this with Google Calendar. So, ibablock nyo po yung different tasks nyo, ganyan. And then, ang handy about it is that it will notify you. Magbibigay po siya ng notifications so that you can proceed to the next task if you can. So, ayan po, ang time blocking. Another thing that I do on how I continue to learn during the pandemic is I listen to podcasts. Si Gab, can I ask Gab, do you listen to podcasts as well? Or maybe you have a podcast yourself? So let's talk about that. Hindi kita naririnig. Ayan, okay na.
Okay, ayun. Actually, podcasts are very essential. Kasi it has a lot of potential because there are a lot of genres. And what I really like to listen to are podcasts that are for self-help. Kasi minsan hindi natin na-address yung part na yon, yung self-help concept natin sa ating mga sarili. But if you are into sports, merong sports podcast, merong if you're into theater or arts, there are a lot of podcasts out there, especially on Spotify, on YouTube. I myself tried to start a podcast kasi yun nga we're enclosed on this pandemic, tapos parang you can't talk to anyone. So parang in my way of socializing with people, I like to bring in people and talk about something else. I remember last time we had a breakdown of a certain play na nag-release ng live stream. So you really get to socialize, you get to talk to people, and especially you have that reach, kumbaga, kung saan maririnig ka ng mga tao like we are doing right now dito sa webinar natin, that can really help them, that can entertain them.
It's very informative. Diba? Yes, not only entertaining but informative.
Ikaw ba, Shari, anong kinds of podcast yung mga gusto mong pinapakinggan?
Yeah, ang gusto kong podcast na pinapakinggan is yung informative. Merong kasing podcasts na mag-share sila ng brand new idea every day. So every day you get to learn something new. And at the same time, yung medium of podcasts kasi is that it makes you feel like you're a part of the conversation. Na hindi ka lang yung parang from afar. It's something personal, and at the same time, matatrigger yung wanting mo to learn new stuff every day. So, ayun. Yes. So, I would really recommend for you to listen to podcasts if you have time. And it's also kind of like my way of meditating din. Kasi, kailangan ko lang marinig yung podcast. Kasi hindi pwede yung divided attention when it comes to listening to podcasts. So, or rather, kapag meron kang gagawin na task na hindi naman masyadong kailangan ng brain cells, di ba? Pwede kang makinig ng podcast. So habang huhugas ka ng pinggan or naglalaba, you can listen to podcasts and learn at the same time.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Gab. Next is pursue one hobby. Now, it may be not really counterintuitive, but sige, marami kang kailangan gawin, marami kang deliverables and that sort of stuff. But I do recommend that you still pursue at least one hobby. Gab, do you have hobbies that you pursue at the same time as well, since ongoing or patapos na yung ating semester? Maybe you can share.
Okay. Actually, shout out to those plantitos and plantitas out there. I myself is a green thumb. Yeah, kasi for me, that hobby takes you away for a moment dun sa studies mo, dun sa work na ginagawa ng educators natin, to de-stress, di ba? Kasi for some, ang hobby nila TV, that's okay. Hobby nila is sports or whatever. But it is also good for you to pursue out that one hobby because it's somewhat therapeutic. It somewhat calms you
Exactly.
down. It separates work, study, and your life. Especially kasi hindi naman buong buhay natin, buong araw ay nakatutok tayo sa screen, di ba? Iiksi ang buhay
Totoo.
natin ng ganyan, di ba? So,
Tsaka sasakit yung likod mo lagi.
exactly. So, actually, nung nag-start ako mag-online learning, wala akong salamin. But now, here we are. Di ba? So, shout out to those plantitos out there. So, yun. Ikaw, Shari, what's your hobby? Meron kaya tang, i-share?
Yes. So, yung isang hobby na nasimulan ko during the pandemic is my small business, which is actually baking, or a bakery rather. Online bakery. Kasi syempre, pandemic. But, so, yung pagbe-bake, yun yung parang naging outlet ko to release the stress from work, from ACADS, and at the same time, it's still productive. Kasi, di ba, you have a small business on the side, ganyan, and at the same time, it's very therapeutic for me. So, again, I would like to suggest kung gusto nyong, matuto during the pandemic, you can pursue one hobby that will separate your work, that will separate your studies, ganyan. Kasi it's very helpful din talaga. Okay. Thank you, Gab, for your sharing. Let's go to part 3. Successful online strategies. These are from my personal experiences, and dala-dala ko pa rin siya hanggang ngayon. So maybe that's 3 to 5 years na. And I will share with you my online strategies. So first up is if allowed siya, but I think meron din pong free plan for the Google Suite. You can utilize that, but you also need to take into account kung meron po kayong stable internet or kung hindi po siya masyadong mahal for your end. Kasi kailangan po ng Google Suite ang stable internet connection para makapag-upload ng files, para ma-access yung files, or pwede rin naman na ida-download mo na lang siya and then you can view them later. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is yung Google Suite is very handy kasi i-upload niya sa cloud and then you can access it from a different device. So, yun po yung ginagamit ko kapag magsusulat ako ng documents kasi there are times na malulobat si laptop, so lilipat ka sa other gadget. Hindi pa rin maapektuhan yung pagta-time block ko kasi you have that accessibility. But then again, you also have to take into consideration nga po kung wala naman pong stable internet, then maybe a better alternative for this is to just write on a paper first, ganyan. Marami pong alternatives for this, but I'm just sharing with you yung personal experiences ko po. So I use Google Suite for its very accessible and fluid yung kanyang, what do you call this? Yung pag i-access mo siya sa ibang devices, ganyan. And then I also use Trello. You can check it out po at trello.com if I am not mistaken. Hindi na po kasi ako nakapaglagay ng example dito. But trello.com is essentially a website, and it helps teams or individuals work more collaboratively. So meron po siyang boards, meron siyang listahan ng mga different tasks. So kapag plan nyo pa lang po siyang gawin, pwedeng ilagay sa isang board, and then kapag ginagawa nyo na po siya, ililipat nyo lang siya doon, and then kapag natapos na, pwede rin ilagay doon sa done na column. It's really effective for teams, but I also use it for personal use. Kasi tawag dito, makikita nyo po kung alin na yung mga tasks na tapos na, and kung hindi naka-assign sa inyo, pwede kayong tumulong, that sort of thing. So maybe you can check out Trello. Okay. This one naman po is para sa discussions when it comes to online classes. I encourage everyone to always ask questions kasi you will never really know kung hindi ka magtatanong ng question, di ba? And you will be surprised with the answers from your classmates or from your teachers kapag nagtanong kayo. And lalo na ngayon, I think most, if not all of you, will come from the traditional or yung face-to-face nga po. And it's much easier to ask questions kapag face-to-face kasi kita mo yung body language, kita mo yung facial expressions niya, ganyan. But yun po yung isa sa limitations ng online classes. Like for example, sa amin po sa OU, hindi naman po kami laging nag-video calls, tawag dito, Gab, maybe you can share, di ba? Napag-usapan natin to nung minsan na hindi naman nga video calls lagi. Teachers or professors rather provide modules, di ba? Gab, can you elaborate on that?
Shari, sa amin in OU, I'd like to say never kami nagkaroon ng synchronous class because ang setup kasi ng OU, which is open learning, it's modular. So every week, merong module, merong course pack kung tawagin sa ating mga educators ngayon. Then we will process that. Then merong output every week. So never talaga kami nagkaroon ng synchronous classes. Actually, Shari, if you remember, wala namang Zoom dati. Wala namang Google Meet dati. So ang ginagawa lang namin, it's per consultation. So optional lang palagi ang video call. Kumbaga, if meron lang kami talagang questions or meron talagang lecture na kailangang i-discuss na hindi kaya ng video, na hindi kaya ng PowerPoint or whatever, dun lang nagkakaroon ng synchronous class. So hindi siya nakakapagod. hindi siya nakaka-strain.
Hindi siya mentally exhausting, ganyan.
Yes.
And so I also want to add something na hindi siya laging per week actually. Kasi since we are also taking into account that most of the students are working students. So hindi siya pwedeng per week kasi 'di ba, iba't iba yung schedule nila sa work. So for flexibility purposes, what some professors do is that they upload everything, every module, 'di ba? And then the student can learn on their own pace. So it's one of the, maybe you can also do that. So I don't know, but that's how we do things. Some professors do that sa UPOU. Okay. Kasi nga 'di ba? Para ikaw na yung bahala.
Right.
You just need to discipline yourself when it comes to learning. Okay. So for the next slide, pakita natin saglit, but I'm gonna ask you Gab pa rin on this, which is for the part 4, what are the tips on how not to procrastinate? Ayan. Gab, I will let you.
Lahat po tayo, I believe, are guilty of this. Wala pong no learner didn't procrastinate.
Walang takas, walang ilag, no?
Wala, as in, because it's so tempting, lalong-lalo na ngayon that you have all the time that you have. Tapos nasa bahay ka. And most of us, we study in our rooms. So parang yung kama mo,
ang lapit-lapit lang, yung temptation.
Diba? So there really is a great chance of us procrastinating. But what I've learned from the mistakes that I've made sa aking pag-aaral sa OU is that if you really have the time for something, why not do it now? Diba? Why put it later kung meron naman tayong time now? And for us na, kasi iba-iba rin tayo ng ng time ng kung kailan tayo effective, 'di ba, Shari? Ako, nighttime person ako.
Yeah,
so sa gabi ako productive. So all the things that I have to do before I study sa gabi, gagawin ko na ng umaga. So, yun nga, time blocking again. If you set aside the time for something, if you set aside things on their own value, kung alin yung unahin mo, alin yung ipuput off mo muna, yun yung importante. And I think I want to talk about it more later sa akin ng mga session.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yun nga, yung flexibility ng time blocking is ikaw yung bahala. You are the one who will schedule your time kasi it fits for you. Kasi nga wala namang there's no one size that will fit all, di ba? Yun yung saying. So it's you can time block depende dun sa time na feeling mo productive ka. So for Gab and I, it's the night time, di ba? Okay. Thank you so much, Gab.
Welcome.
Balik tayo sa... Okay. So the first tip for not procrastinating is to forgive yourselves or themselves for procrastinating. There are a lot of studies about this, but yung result po is that procrastination is linked to negative feelings. So if you forgive yourself for procrastinating, or if you recognize and you accept that you are procrastinating, you forgive yourself. And then you can move forward, which is instead of focusing on those negative feelings, you have to think about what the next action is. And it doesn't mean na kailangan it's a big task, it's a big action. It can be a small action or a small task first, and then you will build up to accomplishing bigger tasks, diba? So you have to take that step for you to stop procrastinating. So after you recognize, after you forgive yourself, you think about what the next action is. So yan ang tips on how not to procrastinate. And then, ayun nga, one way of going about this is to break down your tasks into very small steps. Because makikita mo na, ay, pwede pala siyang gawin na ganun. And hindi naman kailangan na isang bultuhan agad yung gagawin mo. You can divide them into small and attainable tasks. So that's how you go about it. And then the next tip is to be kind to your future selves. Kasi if you're very hard on yourself, mas lalo kang walang ma-accomplish nun. But if you accept it, if you recognize it, then you can be kind to yourself in the present, and then you will ultimately be kind to your future selves. So, ayan ang aking tips on how not to procrastinate. Okay. For the last part 5, these are the lessons that I learned the hard way as an online learner. First is that you really need to read the instructions very carefully, not only once, not twice, but you have to read it more times talaga. Kasi some professors, I don't know, I'm not saying this for everybody, pero malay natin yung ibang professor ay itetest yung mga students sa instruction. So it can be tricky. So my tip for that is to read the instructions very, very carefully. Ayan. And then the next tip is that you really have to engage in discussions. Kasi it's much easier talaga sa traditional setting. But since it's an online setting, it can be really tricky. And I would really suggest na mag-engage sa discussions. Kasi hindi lang naman ang matututunan mo is yung sasabihin ni teacher or ni professor. But you will also learn something when you engage in other students, when you discuss things. So ayan, you need to engage in discussions. The next tip that I will give you is that you need to double check your submissions. It actually happened with me kasi nga Ang nangyari nun is yung final paper ko, so sa files, yung final paper ko katabi niya si first paper. At yung nasubmit ko as final paper is my first paper. Hindi ko din-double check kasi kampanteng-kampante na ako, tapos na, okay na, ganyan. But, ang nangyari pala is yung first paper ko nga yung nasubmit. So, automatic 0 na agad yan. And, you really have to double check your submissions or quadruple check pa minsan. Check the submissions na tama yung na-submit nyo, ganyan, before handing them in. So, yun yung isang tip that I can give you. And then, yung kakabit nun is double check the deadlines, right? And siguro it's better to take note of them, put it in your calendar, ganyan, so that you will be guided. It's your guide, diba, on which tasks will come first or second. So you really need to double check your deadlines. But again, these are my personal experiences, and it's different for every student. So for now, let's listen to Gab as he will share with us his tips and lessons naman from his point of view and experiences. So ayan, maraming salamat po.
Ayun. So, hello po sa ating lahat. Ako nga po ulit si Gab, and I would like to share with you something that is really personal to me because when I was invited dito sa webinar na to, I told Shari, hindi ako yung hindi ako yung pinaka
Ano yun?
credible sa atin na to talk about this. Kasi sa hindi ko nakalam, ako po ay delayed. Ako po ay continuing student, and one of the things that I want to clarify is that kaya pa ba? Kaya bang mag-online learning? Kaya ba talaga? Kasi parang ang hirap in context kasi ikaw lang halos magbabasa, ikaw lang halos magtuturo sa sarili mo. And it's really something that is what do you call that? There's a right term. It's challenging. It's really challenging.
Yes.
And wait, I will share with you my screen para naman makita natin yung differences ng bakit ba kailangan mag-online learning? Bakit ba kailangan mag-aral? So,
But I would like to disagree with you for a second there though. Na sabi mo hindi ka credible. But bakit kita pipiliin if you're not credible, di ba? Kasi di ba, different people have different stories, different different experiences, and they're all valid. But I want them to know about your story, about your experiences, and that makes you credible enough. So yun lang naman.
So wait lang, ako'y nagkakaproblema sa aking PowerPoint.
Okay, go lang. But as you're doing that, maybe we can ask the viewers kung ano po yung naging biggest takeaway nila sa aking presentation. Nakakatapos lang.
Ayun.
Okay na ba?
I think I'm sharing na. Nakikita nyo na po ba?
Ayan, okay
Ayan.
na.
Okay.
Thank you.
Actually, one of the takeaways that I got from your is really about time blocking. Kasi nung nag-start ako na online learner, ako po ay galing high school. Wala pa pong K-12 noon. Wala pa pong Zoom. Wala pa pong kahit ano. So, I was really a traditional learner. Diba? I was really a visual and kinetic learner na parang kung lahat babasahin ko, kung lahat titingnan ko lang sa screen, ay mahihirapan po ako to cope, to learn. Kasi nga, it's something that is new. So, para lang po, I know Ma'am Cheryl introduced me a while ago. So, ako po ay student ng University of the Philippines Open University. So, kung hindi po nakakalam, kami po ay part ng UP system. I am a freelance content creator, pero before po, I had a 9-to-5 job. Actually, it's 6-to-5 job. So parang I need to balance my time as an online learner and also as a professional. Also, I am a youth leader in our religious group. And as I said kanina, I am a plantito. So Magandang umaga po sa atin lahat. Nakikinig pa po ba tayo? Gising pa at hindi natutulog? So ako po ulit si Gab. And heads up lang po, ang online learning po ay, as nakikita niyo po sa screen, it's same but different but still the same. Because as much as we want to do traditional learning or the usual school setup, hindi po natin kayang gawin yan ngayong pandemya. Pero ang online learning po ay really essentially the same as online as traditional learning. So it's same but different but still the same. So yun po. And our objective, bakit nga ba tayo nagwe-webinar? Bakit mga estudyante ang pinapakinggan niyo po ngayon? Well, ang objective po namin, especially to the educators and also the incoming freshmen, the people of UPLB, the students and other universities and schools, is that you understand more of what online learning is really about. Hindi po yan, as we said, hindi po yan puro video call or meeting kasi nakakapagod po talaga. Hindi po. Most of the time po usually, what we do right now, 90% is all on your own. And 10% is just the video calls and the consultations. Another objective that we have is to change your perspective. Hindi po namin dinidiscount yung mga disadvantages natin ngayon. But online learning is really something to look forward to, is really something that is very futuristic. Kumbaga, it's something that we can utilize so much more than the traditional learning. And finally, our last objective po is to equip us with the tools. Hindi naman necessarily the tools, but the principles, the techniques, the tips that Shari and I will be sharing with you. Those are the things that we need to remember, di ba? Kaya lahat naman po ng webinar natin na ginawa ay wala na rin naman po yun kung hindi naman po natin ipuput to practice. So yun po. Why are we even doing this? Bakit tayo nagwe-webinar? Bakit hindi na lang natin itigil ang klase? Well, COVID po, both stopped us and fast-forwarded our lives. What do I mean by that? Well, tinigil po ng pandemyang ito ang ating buhay. We're all stuck at home. Marami pong mga bagay na hindi na natin nagagawa ay hindi na natin pwedeng gawin ngayong current season na to. But it also fast-forwarded our lives. Meaning, yung mga bagay that we thought that we can put out sa future, yung mga bagay katulad ng pag-aayos ng ating healthcare system, pag-aayos ng ating programa para sa mga worker. Also, online learning. 'Di ba? Maraming university, maraming schools iniisip nila, ay hindi pwede pa naman natin gawin yung traditional ngayon. Hindi pa natin kailangan mag-convert or mag-try to think about online learning kasi hindi pa naman siya kailangan. Well, all those fast-forwarded us right now. The pandemic brought them now. So yung mga bagay na yun that we need to address are the things that we must adapt right now. And kaya nga natin ginagawa tong webinar na to is to help you cope, is to help you, is why we need to adapt to something that is new. Okay? So next. So these, I will cut my sharing with you into two parts. In a whole new world, understanding online learning, and two, I will survive putting things to work, as I said. So first part, a whole new world. So Shari, if I may ask you, andiyan ka pa ba?
No. Yes, andito pa ako.
If I may ask you, what's the difference now? Kasi online learning for us is different now than before. So ano yung mga nakikita mo na differences kung tutuusin sa ating pag-online learning now?
Now, okay. It's much more difficult. Kasi 'di ba nung undergrad ko naman, ang inaalala ko lang that time is, okay, may deadline ako this coming Friday or something. So, paano ko siya gagawin? But now, you have to also think about your family. Kasi, most likely, may mga kasabay ka rin nag-work or nag-aaral na kapatid, ganyan. So, you need to take into account that as well. At hindi lang yon sa family side. You also need to take into account yung pandemic. Kasi, if you, what do you call this, if you recognize it or not, it really affects us talaga, 'di ba? So I think those conditions are what make online learning kind of, difficult, but it's not impossible. Kaya pa rin naman, 'di ba?
Mm-mm.
And yun nga, yun yung that's how I look at online learning now.
Right. For me naman, it's really about, you know, processing everything. Kasi there are a lot of things that are happening. There are a lot of things to look at. So parang you're getting distracted, and most of the things that iniisip mo, mag-aaral pa ba ako, ganito na yung mental health ko, ganito na yung situation natin. And what I want our viewers, our educators, our learners to know is that online learning is something that can help us. It's something that can take away our attention for a bit from the stress, from the everything, you know. So yun nga, it's a really whole new world. It's a kahit kami sa OU medyo na nag-change yung tone, 'di ba? I remember
Yes.
before kailangan weekly, meron kaming submission, weekly, meron kaming requirements, but now our professors are more lenient. They take in account our mental health. I
Yes.
really like nga yung isang subject ko is it's speak yung deadlines niya are very forgiving. Kumbaga, hindi rin siya straining, hindi siya nagre-require na masyadong ano, but you really learn kasi yung course pack niya, yung modules niya are really robust, kumbaga siksik. So talagang matututo
Yes.
yung estudyante kahit on their own lang. So thank you for that, Shari. One thing that we should know is that to know is power. Ayun. Am I still sharing? To know is power. Well, you've heard of people saying knowledge is power and everything, but to know is something different. To know is something more deeper. So to know means understanding. To know means you realize, you know the value, you set the worth for you. So teka, can I ask na lang kasi I'll be switching. Yeah, to know is power. And that kung hindi natin alam yung hindi natin mag-grasp yung idea of online learning, mahihirapan talaga tayo. We will just think, mahirap yan kasi maraming requirements. Mahirap yan kasi you have to learn by yourself. No. And kaya kami nag-share nung experiences namin ni Shari. It's because it's something that we've already experienced. It's something that we've already know how to cope, know how to attack, and know how to really look at to na merong ibang perspective na. So, yan, meron na ulit. Thank you, Sir Josh. Yeah, for example, you want to learn how to drive because you want to get from point A to point B, di ba? You want to learn how to cook because you want to eat or you want to serve people with the food that you cook. So, ganun din po tayo sa education. Kaya po tayo nag-aaral, it's because we want to learn something. We want to get that degree, 'di ba? Para mag-level up naman ang ating buhay. Sa mga teachers naman, sa mga educators naman, kaya natin gusto magturo, it's not because napipilitan tayo at yun ang trabaho natin, but because we want to educate. We want to impart the knowledge. We want kids to listen to us because we have something to share. Ayan po. So, kung I believe puro educators nga yung nanonood sa atin ngayon puro teachers, puro professors. Ayan. So, if I may ask Shari again. Shari,
Yes, I am here.
since online learning kasi is something, what's online learning for you? I mean, in your graduate years, in your Ph.D. now, kudos to you. Actually po, classmate
Thank
ko po si
you.
Shari before. Ngayon po, professor ko na siya.
Yes.
Ganun po sa kagaling. Pero, yun nga, ang contrast kasi namin ni Shari. Shari will tell you the successful things that she've learned. I will tell you the things that you should not do as an online student. So Shari, what is online learning for you as a student and also
As a
as an
student.
educator? Diba?
It's very different, no, if you're a student and if you're a teacher. But
Mm.
ultimately, online learning is it's something that can give you flexibility. Kasi nga, so if for example, flexible yung deadlines nyo, it's up to you kung mas nakakaaral ka sa gabi, okay lang yan, di ba? And then at the same time, online learning can hone your different skills. It can hone your self-discipline, di ba? And then it can also, what do you call this? Enhance your skills, your communication skills, that sort of stuff. So I guess that's online learning for me.
Ako naman, nung at first I wasn't a full-time student. I was a part-time student. As I said, I had a 6 to 5 job. So I have to wake up 6. I have to wake up earlier than 6. Then I have to go after 5. So the reason why is because actually yung online learning, Shari, it's really, at first it's really not meant for students, but it evolved into something na kayang-kaya na ng mga students natin because it really focuses on flexibility nga, as you said. For me, it's something that I uh, that I chose because I had to work. I want to earn something while I was studying. So actually, Shari, di ba, ang classmates namin po ay hindi po mga kasing age namin usually.
No.
Di ba? Meron po akong classmate na 50. Meron po akong classmate na
Yes.
35. So it really says
It comes
a
from
lot.
different age
Di ba?
groups.
It's
Diba?
really says a lot that kayang-kaya kahit si mami, si daddy, si lolo. Di ba? May lolo akong classmate and we really love him. And it just shows that online learning is for everyone. It's for everyone, guys. So thank you, Shari, for sharing your experiences. And guys, if I want to share with you that I know you already know this, is that education is a right. Yes, education is a right. Right now, it feels like it's a privilege, but education will always be a choice. Kasi kung meron ka namang tools at kung ayaw mo talaga mag-aral, hindi ka matututo. Meron kang, kung hindi ka ganun ka siksik sa resources, but you will find a way. I'm not saying that we should romanticize that, but as much as possible, if you really want to learn, you will learn one way or another. Tama ba? Tama ba, educators? Nafe-feel ko po yung ano nyo dahil my mom is also a professor. Diba? So, that is to know is power. And my next slides will be saying, online learning is a solution and should never be a burden. So, yung online learning po kasi, again, as I said, was originally designed for working people, for people with disabilities, for people with, they have a family, they can focus on their studies. So, ganun po talaga din-design yung online learning. But when UPOU offered the bachelor's degree to incoming students, it was really something new. It was really something peculiar. And diba? So you really have to take note, educators, students, the things that we do in normal classes, hindi po pwedeng gawin. I mean, most of them, hindi po natin pwedeng gawin sa online learning. It's because it's really different. It's a really different platform. It's something that sa usual classes natin, you can see them face to face, you can talk to them straightly, but in online classes maraming factors marami pang dadaanan kumbaga bago tayo makapag-usap, and the usual load and requirements on the of fast-paced learning we are used to will bring to both educators, yung guys, teachers, students, ang heavy load po na kaya nating gawin sa usual or traditional learning, hindi po pwede sa online learning. Kasi nga, umupo ka lang sa computer ng 3 oras, 2 oras, sobrang pagod mo na. Iba ang pagod, guys. Iba ang stress, iba ang mental health strain niya. So as much as possible, hindi naman natin isisiksik yung course pack natin, hindi natin gagawin yan. Ang gagawin natin is pacing ng pag-aaral. Kasi yun nga, you're factoring in mental health, you're factoring the pandemic. So there are a lot of things that we need to look at too, diba? Online learning isn't all about endless video calls, as we said. There are different ways we can implement it. So sa OU, again, ang ginagawa namin, there are modules, there are course packs that you have to learn, you have to submit by a deadline, pero hindi talaga siya synchronous. It can never be because yun nga, marami sa atin walang internet masyado, nagre-rely lang sa data, marami sa atin wala masyadong gadgets. And we recognize that on online learning. Hindi pwedeng sabihin natin sa mga estudyante natin, by this time, ganitong setup, meron tayong video call every week, every day. Hindi po pwede yun. So students naman, hindi naman pwedeng magre-rely lang tayo dun sa deadline na sabihin natin, hindi, mayroon pa naman, may oras pa naman ako, and we will talk about that later. So, again, we must recognize na meron talagang digital divide. Meron in terms of understanding the framework of online studying, as Sir Chico mentioned yesterday, na merong age gap, pero age gap isn't really about that pero merong digital divide. Merong lack, merong differences sa ating resources, merong lack sa ating setup sa ating mga buhay right now. And we all need to package all those things to something that may matututo talaga, na meron talagang mai-impart ang ating educators. There will definitely be a learning curve. As I said, nung pumasok kami ni Shari from high school to there will really be a learning curve. And for me, it took 2 months to really get into ganito pala ito mangyayari, ganito pala ito yung setup na gagawin namin in online learning in OU. So there will definitely be a learning curve. So again, guys, forgive yourselves if hindi nyo kaagad magets. Professors, educators, forgive also yourself kasi I know some of you bago to di ba? Hindi pa tayo marunong gumamit ng LMS, hindi pa tayo marunong gumamit ng Google Suite or whatever. Forgive yourselves, guys, for not getting it kaagad. Because yun nga parang fast forward, bam, we need to learn this right now. Ganon siya kabilis, and forgive yourselves for not learning as fast as it is. Ang importante ay pagkatapos ng term, pagkatapos ng SEM ay may matututunan tayo. So yun, kaya nga ginagawa ng UPLB LRC itong webinars ito is to equip us, to help us be able to cope in this online learning classes. So next is I Will Survive. You all know this song, kids and elderly. I don't know. Yeah, I Will Survive because yun nga, as Shari mentioned a while ago, na kaya naman talaga mag-online learning. Kaya naman talaga, it's very doable, it's very possible. Actually, these things that we are sharing are really basic things. Kung napapansin nyo po, we're talking about time management, study habits, we're talking about budgeting yourself dun sa mga kailangan nating gawin. It's also focusing na for us to rest. Basic things, very basic things that we are sharing with you. And we're just basically reminding you of those things that you can implement on your online learning. So online learning in its essence focuses on the essential parts of learning. So wala nang favoritism, wala nang mag-attendance, papapirma ka. No. 'Di ba? Wala nang extracurriculars. So it really focuses on the essential parts of learning. Again, so yon. First step that I want to share with you. Next slide, please. Okay, if you think you still have time, think again. Because ito pinakasakit. Pinakasakit ng estudyante, whether it's traditional or online learning, as we've mentioned before kanina ni Shari, is procrastinating. You think you still have time, you think you still have, pwede pa naman yung gagawin mamaya, 1 hour lang. Paano kung biglang dun sa 1 hour na gagawin mo, nawalan ng internet? Paano kung biglang nawalan ng kuryente at that time? 'Di ba? Paano kung biglang kailangan pala ng sister mo o ng brother mo yung laptop na pinagsesharean nyo? 'Di ba? If you have the time to do things now, or to do things at the set time, do it. Kasi hindi mo talaga alam, really. Before, I've experienced, nag-exam kami, tapos biglang, nag-exam kami and it's, I think it was Yolanda. And biglang nag-blackout as in. And if I were able to do it before the deadline or far from the deadline, I could have submitted it on time. I could have accomplished it. And those are the things na mga what ifs eh. So, mabuti ng sigurista. Mabuti ng sure tayo na kaya natin gawin yan. And those are the things that I really learned hard from. Those are the experiences that I have. Diba? Lalong-lalo yung guys, alam niyo ba yung iiglip lang ako. Mamaya na yan. Tapos gigising ako. That is very dangerous. That is very dangerous for us to do kasi you really don't know. One time, I said, iiglip lang ako kasi masakit na yung mata ko and whatever. Then gumising ako kinabukasan na. Wala nang deadline, hindi ko siya natapos and whatsoever. So, 5. Diba? So, if you think you still have time, think again, guys. So, ayun. Next. Learn when to say yes and when to say no. So, this step really focuses on our self-discipline. Kasi wala namang magde-decide ng gagawin natin. Lalong-lalo na walang nakakakita. Walang professor na nakakakita na, ba't hindi ka pa gumagawa ng assignment mo? Diba? Your parents cannot check on your studies all the time. Tatanungin nila, bakit wala ka bang ginagawa ngayon? Wala ka bang kailangan gawin? Because it focuses on self-discipline. As we said, there's just too much freedom in our hands na hawak talaga natin yung oras natin. It's on us. Diba? Kahit ano namang setup na deadline na gawin ng professors natin, tayo pa rin naman yung gagawa. Tayo pa rin naman ang magsasubmit. Diba? For the educators, kayo pa rin naman yung gagawa, yung magpe-pace nung ituturo natin sa bata. Kahit ano namang gawin natin, it's still a give and take, you know, but it focuses on self-discipline. Saying yes to one thing means saying no to another. So, lalong-lalo na ngayon, pandemic, merong Netflix, merong YouTube, merong Instagram, nakaka-tempt na tumingin na lang sa phone tapos kala mo saglit lang pero 25 minutes na pala, 'di ba? When we say yes to something, we say no to another thing, and when we say no to another thing, we say yes. So when we say yes to studying, we say yes to online learning, we say no to something else. Sabihin natin, teka Netflix, teka Park Seo-joon, mamaya ka na. Teka, ano pa bang palabas sa Netflix ngayon, di ba? When we say no to those things, we can focus on our online learning. We can focus on our studying. Now, when we say yes to those things, alam nga lang mag-aral ka habang nanonood ng K-drama. Hindi naman subject yun, di ba? Although in UPD, I think it is. Pero yeah, when you say no to one thing, you say yes to another thing. Online learning is stressful. It is consuming resources such as internet, electricity, but also our emotional and social batteries. Di ba nakakapagod na pagod ka na tapos dun saka magme-meeting? Hindi ganun, di ba? Mas maganda yung pag meeting ka, fresh ka, rested ka, di ba? Harap ka ng camera, nakasmile. So kami talagang pinilit namin matulog ng maaga kagabi para fresh kami makakita sa iyo. Hello to our online learners. Gising ka ba tayo? I know, busy tayo sa paggawa ng course packs natin. But yes, learn to make the right decisions. So, one of the things that really delayed me in my study is that, yun nga, marami akong wrong decisions na nagagawa. So, yun, it set me back a lot of times. Ayun. So, next. Ito, inaabangan to ng friends ko. You are not alone. What do I mean by that? Like I said before, everyone is trying to cope. Everyone is trying to adapt. Hindi lang po yung student, pero yung educator, yung admin, yung registrar, lahat tayo nag-a-adapt. So we are not alone in this situation. It's somewhat comforting but also reassuring, kumbaga na mayroon din akong kasama dito sa aking pag-online learning. So again, so as Shari said a while ago, ask as much questions as you have. For me, ask as much help as you can. Kasi if you're a lone wolf, kala mo kaya mo na lahat, mahirap lalo na in this time. So Ask as much help from your registrar. Paano ho ba mag-enroll ng ganito? Ask your dean or your consultation professors, paano ho ba natin gagawin yung setup natin na kailangan ko magpasa ng thesis pero wala po kaming internet. And I believe their professors na educators are also forgiving na since nare-realize din nila, alam din nila yung situation na nangyayari, they'll be forgiving enough students to na alam nila yung situation natin. So, ayun. Don't be afraid to ask your teachers, your professors, the faculty for academic advice. Minsan, nahihiya yung estudyante. One of my mom's student, taga-bundok siya. So sabi ng student, "Ma'am, hindi ko po talaga kaya mag-video call every ano." So what my mother did is, ito yung course pack, ito yung readings, ito yung PowerPoint ko, i-download mo, i-print mo. So kahit wala kang internet, wala kang kuryente, kaya mo magbasa, kaya mo bumasa, kaya mo matuto. Tapos sa deadline, doon ka na lang magpa-load, doon ka na lang magpasa ng lahat ng requirements. So 'di ba ang ganda noon na the teacher and the student have that relationship na give and take. So yon, engagement between educators and learners are essential. So wag po kayong matatakot na magtanong. Wag mahihiyang magtanong, guys. So one of the things that I want to share with you, next slide please. Ayan. Shout out to my friends, my classmates in UPOU. That's Karen, Eje, Bruno, Kevin, Mickey, and Pawi. Actually, guys, since naging yun nga, may Zoom na, may Google Meet na, may Messenger call na. What we did is in this subject, actually math yung subject namin dito. It's really hard to learn math on your own. 'Di ba? Ikaw lang yung mag-aaral, ikaw lang yung magpa-process, puro readings, 'di ba? Puro video. So it's really hard. So what we did is Karen, my classmate started a study group. Kumbaga meron kaming set times that we will meet, that we will process the module, yung lesson. Tapos after that, gagawin na on our own gagawin namin yung assignment. Then after namin mag-submit, we will compare na ganito pala answeran to, ganito pala i-tackle tong question na to. So it's really helpful, and it also addresses na yung social anxiety natin, yung kumbaga yung social needs natin ay na-feed kasi you have friends, you have classmates that are with you, that understands your situation. So it's really good kung meron tayong capability to start a study group. Alam naman natin yung mga estudyante natin, 'di ba, educators na meron silang group chat sa Facebook kung saan sila nag-uusap, 'di ba? It's really essential. It's really helpful for the students to actually socialize din, 'di ba? Right now sa group namin, we're different ages, we're different backgrounds, and it's all okay because ang goal naman natin is to learn something. So ayun, study groups, very helpful. Next, improve your study skills. Ayun. So if you're coming off from a traditional school and you have poor study habits, poor study skills, well, matcha-challenge ka ngayon because everything is online. So the readings and resources in your course packs will never be perfect. Kahit anong galing ni teacher, kahit gano'ng karobust yung ating course packs, it will never be perfect. And minsan meron kang tanong, minsan meron kang query, kumbaga, na hindi mo ma-ask si teacher kasi wala naman kayo sa consultation time or hindi siya available. Well, doon papasok yung study skills natin. Doon papasok yung research skills natin. That we learn to ask better questions. We learn to ask questions that are on point, kumbaga kung masasagot yung katanungan natin. Learn how to Google better. I believe yung mga, since online learning nga tayo, learn how to Google better. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that you can search how to Google better para hindi lang tayo Wikipedia palagi, educators and learners, di lang puro Wikipedia. We have JSTOR, we have Google Scholar, Britannica. Yun yung mga minsan YouTube, minsan hindi ko magets yung sinasabi ni professor sa module. I will search a YouTube video explaining that lesson and I will instantly get it. So learn to improve your study skills. So lalo na ngayon, I believe citations, that's important. Learn how to cite better, APA or whatsoever na kailangan nyo gamitin. Improve your study skills because it's really essential kasi you are fighting this battle. Right? Again, next is lessons learned. Well, This topic is really dear to my heart because it's really from my experiences. I've been delayed. It's uh, it's really sad to be that na. Pero you can really see hope. You can really see things in a different perspective pag na talagang na-understand mo na it's really all about learning. It's really all about once you're done with all the requirements and all that, meron kang natututunan. It feels good. And again, please make the right decisions. Maraming temptation, yes, but you also have that willpower in you to decide kung ano ba talagang gusto mo na gawin. Do you prioritize your studies? Do you prioritize something else? So those are the things that really struck to me as an online learning. Last tip, trust in your progress. So dun sa, again, there are a lot of requirements. I know, nakakapagod. There are a lot of things to do, educators, nakakapagod. But those things will not accomplish themselves. So you, as Shari again said, take them bit by bit. Isa-isa lang. Diba? Take it one activity at a time. Try to gather and compose yourself. Kasi minsan, wala ka talagang maisulat sa essay. Stop. Try to compose yourself. Gather yourself. And think of a situation, think of a strategy, kumbaga, on how you will attack that question, that essay, that requirement. You know, trust in your progress. Kasi matatapos at matatapos ka din. Pag tinatanong ko kung kailan ako graduate, ang sinasabi ko na lang, tiwala lang, ka-graduate tayo. Diba? It gives me hope. It gives me reassurance that I am doing my best to graduate. I am doing my best to accomplish my requirements. So, the end of my session, I would like to ask Shari again. Shari,
Yes.
kaya pa ba mag-online learning? Kaya ba?
Kakayanin.
Kakayanin natin ng online learning because it's really doable, di ba? It's really possible. Yes. I mean, si Shari, testament niyan, di ba? From bachelor's to PhD. Wow, di ba? So yun po, again guys, online learners ng UPLB, students, educators, maraming salamat po for listening to our session. Salamat po sa pakikinig dahil sa estudyante lang naman kami, but why would you need to listen? Because you want to understand this better. So ayun po, maraming salamat.
All right. Thank you so much, Shari and Gab, for generously sharing your insights on how to slay online learning. Well, ako personally talagang mataas yung tingin ko sa mga online learners kasi I have to admit, nasabi ko yun kay Gab nung kinokontak ko siya na nag-UPOU ako for just one sem. Pero because I'm working then, nahirapan talaga ako dun sa load for online learning sa UPOU. So, it really takes, you really have to have that maturity, self-discipline para talagang matapos mo yung courses mo. But you know, during this pandemic, ang dami kong natutunan dito sa kay Miss Shari tsaka kay Miss Gab. During this pandemic, talagang ang kailangan mo lang talaga, you just have to trust the process and celebrate small wins. Sabi nga ni Miss Shari, you have to be forgiving sa sarili mo kung nag-falter ka and then go back to it again. Alright? So guys, kayo, ano yung mga major takeaways ninyo from Miss Shari and Gab, Sir Gab, sa kanilang mga shinare nila for this morning? Ako, nagbigay na ako. Nauna na talaga ako agad. Alright, habang nag-iintay tayo, gusto ko lang batiin yung mga nanonood sa atin sa FB Live. Talagang hindi sila bumibitaw, no? From the start hanggang ngayon, nakatutok pa rin sila. We have teachers, professors, students watching from Tacloban, Cebu, Bohol, Pangasinan, Makati City, Dasmariñas, Cavite, even yung mga taga-Kalamba, mga kapitbahay natin dyan, sa Los Baños, sa Kalamba, ayan. Good morning pa rin po sa inyo. Samahan niyo po kami because the next part of this webinar series is question and answer. This is your time to ask our speakers for this morning. Kung meron pa kayong mga tanong, hindi pa kayo nalilinawan, gusto nyo pang makakuha ng tips from them, this is the chance for you to ask, guys. Just please be reminded to keep your comments helpful and considerate, okay? To your speakers, to the moderator, and to your fellow participants. And kindly ask, of course, relevant questions, okay? Include your name and your school or affiliation, organization, and then your question para naman ma-recognize po yung inyong pinanggalingang schools or universities or organizations. Okay? So tingnan nga natin. Nakita ko na si Sir Bernard kanina eh. Sabi niya, celebrating small wins.
Yes.
Opo. And then, sabi rin ni Sir Gab kanina, I heard him said, trust the process. I'm reading a book, Sir Gab, about atomic habits. Yung talagang hindi mo na tinitingnan yung malakihang goal, but what you are actually aiming is that you do it one at a time, kahit maliit lang yan, or halimbawa, in a day, 15 minutes, ginagawa mo yun, you're reading the readings na binigay ni professor, hindi mo namamalayan, tapos mo na. Or hindi mo namamalayan, tapos mo na yung pinagagawa sa yung project. Sabi doon sa book ni James Clear, yung author ng Atomic Habits, which is actually shared also in our Facebook page. The quality of our lives often depends on the quality of our habits. Mm-hmm. So parang sinabi mo kanina, Sir Gab, di ba, na parang you choose. Anong mas mahalaga? If you think that you still have time, think again. Kasi anything can happen, right?
Yes po. Actually, it's really comforting na to know na meron gusto talaga ng gusto matuto ng mga student, gusto matuto ng mga educators on how they can utilize, because it's really a great tool to go around, di ba? Yung ibang hindi mo kayang ituro na imbis na sabihin mo na next week ito na yung so next week ko na lang magpapa-quiz. Ngayon pwede mo na ipakita sa students, ay next week pala may quiz. So ngayon pwede mo nang yung student, ikaw din as an educator, mapipace mo yung sarili mo na may quiz pala next week, so focus tayo doon next week, di ba? It's really great.
Alright. And then, dito sa ating FB, ayan, meron nang nag-comment ng kanilang major takeaways. Jay Delgado, sabi niya po, time management, self-discipline, and good study habits. Yes. While for Raymond Lutino, ang major takeaway daw niya, I will survive. Be resourceful and at least reduce procrastination.
Yes.
Do you agree, Ms. Shari? Reduce procrastination daw po.
Yes po. Kung kaya po talagang i-reduce po talaga.
Doon po sa page
kaya naman po, kakayanin.
Yes, Ms. Shari. Talagang kaya. Doon sa page po namin, meron din kaming parang shinare na map of procrastination. So,
sige po, titignan natin yan.
Yeah, kung may matapos, avoid the land of procrastination. Ano ba yung mga nakalagay doon? Sudden urge to do laundry, mount gaming, river of...
Actually, totoo po yun na minsan, I call it productive procrastination, na imbis na mag-aral ka, ay hindi, may labada pa ako, gagawin ko na ngayon or whatsoever. It's really tempting to do that kasi iniisip mo, productive naman ako kasi may nagagawa ako eh. So there's that what's so-called productive procrastination.
Ayan. Do we have a question? Let me just check. From Rocate Nicole Bilo. Good morning po from UPLB. Curious lang po ako sa course packs, if available po siya online, kasi yung available option lang po na nakalagay sa survey is USB or hard copy. Probably this question should be this should be answered by a professor. Siguro let's just wait for some announcements from our professors kasi for sure they will be giving announcements regarding this. Okay, Rocate? Nicole? Okay. And then from Mariam Manalundong from Mindanao State University, Marawi City. Ayan. Thank you very much daw po for a very fruitful and helpful insights that you shared in this webinar. God bless po.
Maraming salamat po sa pakikinig.
Another one from Jeremy Gallos. Thank you very much po. It is informative and inspiring. My major takeaway is to forgive yourself for procrastinating and instead think about the next action.
Yes.
Same with Eliza May Ocero Luis, no to procrastination daw po. And alright, another question I guess from Morel Sarmiento from Philippine Science High School. Oy, pumupunta po kami dyan sa mga RPBB po namin, recruitment program. As students, how do you find the LMS? Are they useful or effective? can you suggest specific characteristics of the LMS and how teachers should create it to increase learners' participation?
Shari, can you answer first?
Oh, okay. Yes po, they are very useful and they are very effective. It just depends on how you utilize one LMS. So for example po, pwede gumamit kayo ng Google Classrooms, and then you can also put your quizzes. Doon din po pwede mag-submit ng assignment sa mga students. And then at the same time, pwede rin po kayo mag-grade on. You can explore that. Marami pong YouTube videos about Google Classroom na pwede nyo pong tingnan. And marami din pong articles on how you can effectively utilize different LMS. But for Google Classroom, marami pong resources for that.
All right. I hope that answers your question. And another one, ayan. Takeaway naman daw po ni Giancarlo from you guys, Shari and Gab. Train your mind to see good things in every situation, one step at a time, and celebrate success. Okay. And then, ayun, si Tana May, same din. Do what you can do today. Stop procrastinating. It will make our lives organized and peaceful. I agree. Don't you agree po?
Binabasa
Yes
ko rin
po.
yung comments nila eh. It's really nice to know na, 'di ba, there really is hope dito sa situation natin, that online learning is really something that we can look forward to, 'di ba? So ayun.
Siguro po ako may question din from you guys, no, as
Yes,
online.
Ma'am She.
How do you keep yourself parang to keep moving forward, or how do you keep yourself motivated when learning online? Kasi ano eh, talagang sa'yo ibibigay, di ba? I've experienced na lahat ng nasa course mo ibibigay sa'yo at the start of the semester, and ikaw nang bahala na gumawa ng lahat na yun. So how do you keep yourselves motivated? Siguro muna si Shari and then Gab.
Yes po. I keep myself motivated by giving rewards whenever I accomplish small tasks. For example po, halimbawa, naka-finish ako ng isang project. What I will do is I will take, let's say, half the day off just to rest, just to recharge, para po, when I start the next task, I'm refreshed, di ba? Mas marami po akong energy to do it. So that's how I keep myself motivated. And then yung sa tawag dito, yung pag binigay naman po sa inyo ng isahan, syempre ang feeling nyo po is ma-overwhelm po talaga kayo na parang, hala, ang dami po palang aralin, ganyan, ang daming i-accomplish. But what I can share with you, the tip that I can share with you is that yun nga po, take it one step at a time, break it down to small tasks that are attainable and achievable para hindi po kayo ma-overwhelm. So, ayun. How about you, Gab?
Ako, well, the primary motivation is to graduate, syempre. 'Di ba? Lahat naman tayo gusto nating matapos ang requirements natin so that we can move forward in life. But for me, ayun, for me kasi ang ginagawa ko is every time that I accomplish something, I would allot a time of rest. Kumbaga parang equal parts dun. Kasi usually pag gagawa ka ng task, 1 hour. Tapos after that, I would look forward to, meron akong 1 hour after na free ako. So I can do something about it. And sa atin namang online learners, hindi naman po kami perfect students na I myself, I play video games then. I play mobile games then. So it's really not strictly about studying. So parang studying is a part of your life, and you also have your individual life, your personal life. So it's something that online learning something that should complement your personal life. Kumbaga, when we're studying, hindi naman natin tinatake away yung mga bagay na personal for us. So we really, again, as they said, there's always a time for everything, di ba? So ayun.
All right. Thank you, Shari and Gab. So, yun na, parang sa mga learners natin, sa mga online learners natin this coming semester, don't be overwhelmed. Pag nakita niyo yung isang buong naka-prepare na course for you guys, just, sabi nga, celebrate small wins, take it one step at a time, sabi nga ni Miss Shari at saka ni Gab. And then, if you think you have done enough, take a rest, no? Kasi talagang yung mental load nga masyado siya kasing ikaw lang nakatutok doon, yung mental load medyo ano yan, medyo mataas. So just take time to rest, and again, sabi ni Miss Shari, forgive yourself kung hindi mo masyadong nagawa lahat, then go back to it the next day. Alright? Okay, another one. Ayan, pagbati naman ito kay Dr. Yulenia C. Pizania from Western Philippines University, Palawan. O, di ba? Nakakabot tayo ng Palawan. Thank you, Team UPLB LRC, for this very informative series. Na-inspire tuloy ako to go online learning. Kahit
Yes.
o, di ba? Pa-retire na si ma'am, pero go pa rin. G pa rin mag-online learning. Alright, another one from Orlan Tormen. Ayan, nagpapasalamat din siya daw po for the wonderful learning opportunity. Kay Angelina Silvero Amoyan, to Jam Almenor Gomez, thank you from Naga City, Bicol. My takeaway po, be kind to your future self and heads up. Thanks, Miss Cheryl, Miss Sherry, Mr. Gab. Stay safe. Stay safe din po. And then, ayan, ang dami nagpapasalamat. Okay, I think there is a question. Catherine Elizabeth Laude from UPLB. Question: I beat procrastination by pretending that I'm severely addicted to the task at hand. Is this healthy? If not, is there an alternative?
Ako, it's, well, severe naman to say that it's severely addicted. One of the things that I look, my perspective on things is that there's always a need, so that you will provide a solution for it. So there's a need for you to accomplish a task. So your solution is to do it, diba? Is to accomplish it. So there will always be a need, and you will be the solution. You will provide the solution for that. So to say that it's severe, it's something na if it works for you, why not? But I as narinig nga natin sa session natin with Doc Palis na it's really we should always also think about ourselves, kasi yun nga burnout is real. Have you heard of those terms, diba? Burnout. So you do as much as you can, tapos biglang in a snap pagod ka na, and there are a lot of things that you should accomplish pa, and wala ka ng energy. So again, learn to value things. So kung ano yung mas importante, gawin natin. Kung hindi ganun ka-importante, we can put it off. Kasi if we're gonna push 100 miles per hour kaagad dun sa isang task, baka mapagod na tayo in the next task. Sabi nga nila, di ba, it is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Mahaba po ang SEM, mahaba po ang term at ang school year. Huwag po nating sagarin kaagad.
Thank you, Gab. Miss Sherry?
Yung naalala ko po dun sa question niya is yung pagiging in the zone. Kung hindi po kayo familiar, is yung zone po is yung parang marami po talaga kayong na-achieve na tasks, that sort of stuff. Ang tip po dun is yung nabanggit din po sa previous session, which is the Pomodoro Technique. So yun po yung focus kayo sa task for 25 minutes or 20 minutes yata po yun. And then you will take a break for 5 minutes. And I think it triggers something in our minds na, uy, meron lang akong 25 minutes to read. Meron lang akong 25 minutes to write something. So parang it will trigger something in your brain so that magiging productive ka talaga, and then you will be in the zone. But then at the same time, hindi naman pwedeng super productive ka lang, napataas lang yung curve. You need to take a break. So yun yung pababa naman. And then, balik ka ulit sa 25 minutes or 20 minutes, and then break. So yun po yung isang tip para you can beat procrastination.
Alright, thank you, Miss Sherry. Mahirap kasi pag procrastination na, no, talagang madami ka nang mafe-feel na emotions dyan. Parang negative na yung mafe-feel mo, tapos mangangarag ka na. And it's not a good feeling pag nagpo-procrastinate. I know some people are saying na mas effective daw sila pag nagpo-procrastinate, but siguro ngayong nag-pandemic na, nag-iba yung thinking ko sa procrastination, and yun nga, na-discover ko na every small things that you do, pag nag-accumulate, malaki rin yung magiging impact.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Meron pa ba? Tingnan natin. Ayan, nag-agree daw po sa inyo, Ms. Shari, si Karen Alama. Thank you so much po. This webinar is very informative. I agree po kay Miss Shari. We need to reward ourselves for every little accomplishments we make in this new normal. Yeah, I agree too. And what else? Ayan, another question from Fritz Hermosa Season for Miss Sherry. Para sa friend niya to. Asking for a friend. For Miss Cheryl Baron, I'm 43 and recently into agriculture entrepreneurship about UPOU. I'm interested. Okay. I think this is regarding sa mga courses po ng UPOU, no? What we could suggest is that you go po sa kanilang website sa UPOU and then nandun po lahat ng details regarding sa pag-enroll sa kanilang mga courses. Okay? Meron pa ba? Okay, I guess that's it. Any parting message po sa ating mga nanonood, sa ating specifically sa ating mga students from Ms. Shari and Sir Gab? Any parting message to them po before we close the program?
Ano po mauna? Sige po. Yung parting message ko po talaga is to take care of our mental well-being and our overall health. Kasi hindi po natin mapaprioritize ang studies, ang work, or ang ating family kung hindi po tayo okay. So, yun po yung parting message ko sa inyo. Gab?
Sa akin naman po, it's really hard po talaga, but it is really possible to achieve it. It's really possible to do online learning. Huwag po tayo matakot sa mga bagay na bago at hindi po familiar sa atin. Kasi once we try to understand it, once we get to with the hang of it, kayang-kaya po natin yan maniin, kumbaga. And for the online learners, kung medyo natatakot kayo sa load, sa requirements, ako po, delayed student, but I still believe na kayang-kaya po ang mag-online learning. Kayang-kayang graduate, kayang-kayang magpasa ng requirements if you have the willingness, if you have the desire to learn and to achieve the things that you want to do. Sa atin naman po mga educators, maraming salamat po for watching this set of webinars. Maraming salamat po kahit estudyante kami, nakikinig kayo sa amin because you want to understand us better. And thank you for doing a great job of teaching our youth, teaching our students kahit nasa pandemya. Maraming salamat po sa lahat and magandang umaga po.
Alright, thank you so much, Ms. Shari and Sir Gab. In return, thank you talaga po. At this point in time, our team LRC would like to take this opportunity to thank you both, Shari and Gab, for your valuable time. Sobrang thank you sa pag-yes na maging speaker namin for Slayin It Like a Pro and giving your insights and testimonies as successful online learners. So may I recognize our beloved director to award the E-Certificate of Appreciation to both of you. And let me just kindly read the citation for the first certificate. University of the Philippines Los Baños Learning Resource Center present this Certificate of Appreciation to Shari Eunice San Pablo for serving as resource speaker in the 6th session on Slayin It Like a Pro, Insight and Testimonies of Successful Online Learners in G KNB Mag-Online Learning, a webinar series on how to study at home under the new normal, held today, August 28, 2020, given this day, 28th day of August 2020, at Learning Resource Center, UPLB College, Laguna, signed by our director, Benjamina Paula G. Flor.
Hey, thank you so much, Shari and Gabs. We learned so much from your experience, and I myself, as an online teacher, didn't have that recognition of what students go through while doing their mountains of assignments, I would say. And in terms of the course packs, meron pong mga online copies din, no? So yung nagtanong kanina kung hard copies lang ba, meron po itong online version as well. Especially those who have internet access, then don't worry because we have both versions, online and electronic and hard copy. So once again, thank you so much, Shari and Gabby. I had so many takeaways myself. No? Ang daming magandang sinabi ni Shari at ni Gabby. No? Very young at that, and then they have recognized that online learning is something that will be here and will stay on, probably with or without the pandemic. And it's a good thing that, a good thing or bad thing that we had the pandemic, because it tried to prepare us to move forward regardless of what will be in store for us. Sabi nga ni Gab, I will survive. At magandang paalala yun sa ating mga learners and educators that despite this new normal, we are open. No? That's why we are all here from sessions 1 to 6, because we want to prepare ourselves. No? We want to make sure that we are ready. And so thank you very much, Shari and Gabby, for your sharing, no? Candid sharing of your experiences that our learners and our educators could learn from.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma'am Bench. And also, let me also share our speakers, Sir Gab's Certificate of Appreciation. Ayan, Gabriel Angelo Ramos. Thank you so much, Sir Gab. All right. So once again, thank you so much, Ms. Shari, Sir Gab, and Ma'am Bench. Now for the evaluation of this session, please do not forget to answer our evaluation form. Your comments and suggestions, again, will deeply be appreciated by our team. Help us to serve you better. I will also post the link on our comment section later. Please make sure to answer them within today. Regarding questions about the certificates, well, originally po, we won't be giving certificates, but because the sessions that we had are intended for UPLB students, but because some participants are also professors and teachers, we will now give certificates, but again, we would be asking for your patience and understanding, because kindly bear with us, because our team LRC, is still working on a skeletal workforce arrangement. And we have 2 staff, Josh and I, managing the certificates. So kindly patiently wait for them to be sent to your email together with all the copies of the presentations of our speakers. But apart from the certificates, more than the certificates, we really hope you learn from our webinar series, which are free and open to all who are interested to learn how to be G, or how to be ready in online learning. Okay. At this point, to give her closing remarks, again, may I kindly recognize our very beautiful and beloved director, Dr. Benjamina Paula J. Flor.
Thank you, Ate Shet. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our resource persons, our technical team, and everyone else, our participants. More than 10,000 participants participated in this 6-part webinar series. And I hope those 10,000 would apply what we have taught you somehow, to some extent, how these learnings can be done. And we are also happy that you are trying to understand online learning in terms of a new pedagogy in the new normal. No? It's learning how to learn. Nag-aaral matuto kung papaano matuto. It's not really what we learn, but how do we learn those things so that we become lifelong learners. After our stint in the university for 4 years, wala na si teacher pag after 4 years. So how do we learn after 4 years when we go back or when we start our workstations? We also want to thank ITC for helping us as well. And of course, Vice Chancellor Lapitan and Chancellor Dindo Sanchez for believing in the Learning Resource Center that we can pull this through. This is a first time, This is the first time of its kind in the university that being in the new normal and providing this holistic intervention in terms of how to prepare our learners in embracing the new normal. And we are happy that our resource persons were able to share their expertise, from the technology to mental to screenshot to come ready to tips on how to equip our students, the mindset from a perspective of the students, from the perspective of the teacher. And I think it's something that we could be proud of, not only of LRC, but the university as well. Ang sabi nga namin we are happy to be of service, but at the same time, we really have our birth pains as well in terms of putting up this 6-part webinar series. Hindi nyo lang alam kung ano nangyayari sa back end, but talagang we're so happy that we made it this far. And we are so thankful that you are still there, happy to listen to us and happy to share what we have shared to you dahil ang dami po nating shares at ang nakikita po namin dito ay this is just the start. We will be staging more webinars in the future, especially those requested by our learners, like something about research, something about data analysis. Although ginawa na namin yon, marami pa po tayong request on how to do that in terms of technical writing. Marami po tayong mga skills that we could still share with you in the future. So, watch out lang po tayo sa ating mga gagawin pang mga activities in the next few months. Ang sabi nga kayo ni Gabi at ni Shari, it's just a start. It's just a start, and the learning curve might be a bit slow, but once you get into that learning curve, it becomes normal. It becomes a habit. Matutuwa pa nga kayo na wala na kayong traditional classrooms. And I guarantee that is something that the faculty will also be happy about. Marami na kayong pwedeng gawin. Pwede na kayong mag-research. Yun, ang extension nyo, online extension, online sharing, no? Online training. But in the end, no? Pag ang course packs nyo ay kumpleto, although hindi pa ako kumpleto, medyo maluwag ang buhay pag kayo ay nag-online teaching, facilitation, or online learning. Well, sabi nga natin, there's only one way to know. You have to experience it. And with that, we expect you to subscribe, sabi nga ni Ate She, like, share, subscribe, click, click, click. So, G na ba kayo? We hope that go na kayo for the coming semester, which will officially open on September 10. Diyos, meron ba tayong isi-share? Okay, ito yung sinabi natin nung unang nag-session tayo, SLAS or Student Learning Assistance System, that the UP system had come up with to assist our students who would need some help in terms of internet connectivity, gadgets, no, financial assistance. But I think we have some problems in terms of accessing the platform right now. And we have contacted UP Diliman to address the issue as well. So I hope within the day, we will be able to access SLAS. Sana hindi ma-slash, no, ang ating mga requests for assistance. Can we go to the next slide, please? So we get to see the schedule. No, ito po yung mga schedule. Actually, this is the start, no, ng application period, which is today hanggang September 2. So this is a transition from student financial assistance to SLAS. Medyo expanded po yung ating student financial assistance in this time of pandemic. So magbibigay po tayo ng mga iPads, magbibigay tayo ng mga computers. Hindi ko lang alam kung kailan, but there is hope. Sabi nga ni Gabi and ni Shari, do not lose hope. No? So kung hindi po kayo nabigyan, meron po tayong appeal period. So I hope you continue accessing the portal or these links so that we get to have some answers on our request. Salamat po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Benj. Ayan, parang pinag-adya lang talaga, no? In-announce ni Ma'am sa day 1 ng session natin sa G KNB Mag-Online Learning yung SLAS. And then, bago mag-end ang ating session 6, talagang lumabas na din yung announcement regarding sa SLAS. So, sabi nga ni Ma'am Benj, there's hope. So, thank you so much, Ma'am Benj. Now, we would like to recognize and thank our team, #Team LRC, and our #GKNB core team, headed by our director, Ma'am Benji. On our technical side is our University Research Associate and BP Coordinator, Joshua Michael G. Jonas, and our production online director, si Direct Prof. Mark Lester M. Chico. Also, we would like to recognize our two other team members, Miss Alenli L. Mangente, and our admin aide, and Mr. Elmer I. Balatian, our ever-dependent and ever-sipag na si Kuya. Alright, I guess this is it. This concludes our hashtag GKNB Mag-Online Learning webinar series. This has been your moderator for today's session, Cheryl Hermosa Ebron. Mga isko at iska, these are difficult times, but please remember, you are not alone. Together, let us support each other. Ultimately, together, let's apply all the learnings we got from the G KNB Mag-Online Learning webinar series, which is be cool, be lit, be on-cam ready, be extra, don't forget to vibe check, and together, let's lay online learning like a pro. Together, let's achieve academic excellence. Muli, maraming salamat po sa pagsubaybay. Bye for now, guys. Happy weekend. Keep safe and God bless. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you for joining. Good job.